It doesn't always have to be epic.
You can do what I call a learning burst and get a lot out of it. When I think of doing a master study for pen and ink, I tend to envision doing a full piece, but that's a big undertaking, especially with dip pens. With the constant dipping, cleaning, and monitoring your values, you don't want to over-render an area and throw the whole piece off track.
If you're new here, I'm Chloe. I'm a retired learning specialist turned artist. I spent the last 2 years building my inking skills and turning it into a full-time thing. I've dedicated 20 plus years developing talent development programs to help people reach their goals. I applied that same approach to my own inking, and it really accelerated my dream outcomes. I'm excited to share this process with you in this channel.
Here's how I do a learning burst for master studies. Actually, there's 2 ways I like to do it. The first is zoning into a section. I got that idea when I saw this image, zoomed in, just rendering that zone suddenly seemed less paralyzing and actually manageable. Then I remembered Richard Friend did a video where he demonstrates how to render like Bernie Wrightson. He suggested starting with just a section of a piece. A small section of Wrightson is still a massive challenge, though doable, not daunting. A zoomed in section can also be rendered in a reasonable amount of time, which makes it easier to focus on the learning aspect of it and less angst for how it might turn out. The example I'm demonstrating today also chunks down the task, but rather than a section of a piece, I zoned in on one technique, executed by various masters, and then I immediately applied it to a piece of my own creation. Lately, I've been wrestling for an elegant way to do cross-hatching. Nothing wrong with cross-hatching, it's just sometimes it looks kind of like mud. I showed an example of this in a past video here, where I added a drop shadow by crossing marks on top of marks, and then 2 years later, I redid the same exercise, but I added the shadow by building density of the tone, and I felt pretty smug for shading it that way, implying that it was a superior line treatment, but I don't want to mislead anyone by giving the old cross-hatching a bad rap. Look here at Booth's precise treatment of cross-hatching. And here Mobius and Bilal. These are divine. The hatching is rendered like a texture. The tonal gradation is lively. It's not mechanical, it's definitely not muddy. Even Gibson's scribbly style makes cross-hatching enviable. Looking at these pieces, I have no idea how the masters achieve such greatness, but by zoning in and trying a small swatch, like a cross-hatching study, then it's an energizing bite-sized master practice. I'm starting with a Mobius gradation. Bilal is similar but more curvy. Booth is my hero. I love that tight knitting he does. Wrightson was influenced by Booth, so his patterns are similarly precise. So instead, I went with the wild Gibson strokes. That was surprisingly fun, and not that terrible of a result. Well, that was my cross-hatching study, from several masters. It's not a complicated exercise and it's fairly quick, which makes it simple to sneak in between other things. And then I applied what I learned to a small ink sketch with in my Moleskine book. I'm starting to understand cross-hatching a little bit more. The result isn't yet how I had envisioned it, though I look forward to the next practice session.
I hope that you enjoyed this learning burst idea.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.